Namaste. I am Bhakti Sharma, an open water swimmer from India, the youngest swimmer in the world and first swimmer from Asia to swim in 4 different oceans, including 8 different seas. My mother and I also hold the world record of being the first mother-daughter duo in the world to swim across the English Channel. The President of India has honored me with Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award for my accomplishments in the field of water adventure.
नमस्ते भक्ति।
बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है आपको देख के और आपसे मिलके।
मुझे भी बताइए।
Companionship in this journey, satsang or a community, it's very, very difficult to find people who you can talk to about your experiences when you seek out on this journey.
Yes.
So it becomes a very lonely conquest. It is a lonely conquest because eventually it is a conquest of the self. But I feel in the beginning that kind of community is very important. और जैसा आप बढ़ते जाते हैं, the more you continue, the more your friends actually also start becoming fewer because they don't understand the things that you're saying. So if you could talk a little bit about that.
It's a lonely conquest, and if you have to carry on the conquest, then you have to conquer loneliness itself. It's not as if it's a lonely conquest. Loneliness is to be conquested. Because if the feeling of loneliness persists, then it will drive you towards the company of undeserving people. And that is exactly opposite to the purpose of spirituality. When we say that the mind is polluted, corrupted, conditioned, and that's why we need to be spiritual to come to the pure mind, it becomes pertinent to ask what corrupted the mind in the first place. The fundamental thing is, of course, the physical body that took birth. But then after that, it is the companionship of others that corrupted us. Is it not? It is the others. Others meaning the entire world. The world is the other. It is the others who corrupted us. So the problem itself is the others. The others, the otherness that we are carrying within. Right? That itself is the problem. Now, if that otherness is the problem, and to solve the problem we still depend on others, then hardly solves the problem. In fact, we are just then continuing the problem in another name. Therefore, I think one has to be cautious when it comes to companionship in the spiritual journey. To begin with, yes, probably you require a mate or two because there would be new things, new experiences, and one requires both affirmation and support. So maybe yes, you require a person or two around you. But you know what happens as you move on, you slowly find that the very presence of a support group is the hindrance in the movement. So it goes on dropping. That, however, does not mean that one keeps on becoming more and more of a loner. What that means is that the compulsive need for companionship is no more. In fact, now you are more open to companionship because now your relationship with others is not need-based. When we say that we need someone around us, then it's a thing of need, right? I require him. The motive is selfish. When that selfish motive is no more, then you can freely and selflessly connect to the other, and that allows you probably to connect with a vast number of people in a very, very healthy way. So it's not as if the spiritual person becomes a loner. The spiritual person is an outrightly community person. Hmm? Think of think of think of a rishi, hmm, who's teaching his students and also meeting people who come to visit him. Hmm? Or think of a Buddha who has established an entire organization, the Sangh. Hmm? And think of the number of people who are associated with the Sangh and the entire movement that is taking place. Thousands of monks, and those monks have all to be managed, and they are all corresponding with Buddha. And then there are the general people who are coming to meet him and seek guidance. So you are living in company and community all the time in a very, very healthy way as a spiritual person, right? Uh, so while it is all right to probably have one or two good friends with whom you share these things, but progressively, since as the self changes, so does the need for company or community, and so does the nature of relationships. Uh, when we say Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam and such things, ultimately that is not valid for the common worldly man. The common worldly man does not have the Vasudha as his Kutumb. Vasudha is the earth, Kutumb is the family. The common man has a very small and limited family. The entire Vasudha is Kutumb only for the spiritual person. His family is large, very large. It's a very common refrain against uh, the spiritual pursuit, that if you go the spiritual way, then you will be left totally lonely. So, yeah.
I believe that comes because, like you said, as the self changes, the nature of relationships also change. So, personally, I felt that the love I experience when I am a little bit more aware is very different from the love that I experienced before that. The aware love does not need me to bind another in a relationship or to have expectations. It flows very freely. And
Wonderful.
a lot of times it's very difficult to communicate that kind of
Wonderful.
love towards the other.
Wonderful.
And
Wonderful.
even more difficult to make the other person understand why the confines of a normal relationship cannot encapsulate this love. I
Wonderful.
cannot
Wonderful.
give you a label of a friend, a boyfriend, a husband, a
Wonderful.
mother, a father, because um, I'm not feeling that towards you. The
Wonderful.
love is completely different.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And that's the dilemma, the burden, or the pain that the spiritual person has to willingly bear. Because as you advance in your spiritual dimension, you will find that the ones you love, the ones you relate to, they have to be taken along. Hmm? At least that would be the intention from your side. That might not be the intention from their side. You will want that because you now know that this journey is something really important, worthy. You want others too to undertake this journey. But as you will relate to them with this objective, you will meet a lot of resistance, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of things will happen, and yeah, those things have to be taken in your stride, and so it's quite a colorful journey. It's not devoid of the entire spectrum, the entire rainbow, all the colors that relationships come with. So all those things are present to a spiritual person as well, but in a much more sublime form, much more life-giving form. Those things happen. It's a very naive kind of misperception that the life of the spiritual person is just pristine white, like a white sari or something. no colors, no blemishes, nothing. One experiences every single color that is available in the spectrum. In fact, the life of the common householder is probably about living in just 2 or 3 colors. The spiritual person actually lives in a, a, an unbelievable diversity of colors.
The colors are much brighter too.
The colors are much brighter, and several of those colors are abhorrent to the social person. So the social person really does not dare venture into those colors. And some of those colors are like divine gifts. They come only to those who really deserve them. Otherwise, it's very easy to live your life within a very narrow spectrum and then just pass away. 60 years, 80 years is not too long a time. You can easily just while it away.
My questions have started dropping.
Good, fine. Nice conversation. And I wish you all the inner help that you might need in the way that is right for you. I recently read about your pursuits and some of your accomplishments. So, in fact, just yesterday. So, felt good. And
those pursuits are the things that led me towards the spiritual journey. They created so much dissatisfaction that I had to seek peace somewhere else.
Right. Wonderful. As a seeker, as a person, and as an Indian woman, I admire the way you have taken and the distance you have covered. And good.
Thank you so much. नमस्कार, मेरा नाम भक्ति शर्मा है और कुछ महीनों पहले मेरा परिचय आचार्य जी से उनके YouTube पे जो वीडियोस हैं उनके माध्यम से हुआ। मन में कई सारे सवाल भी उठे जो पहले से थे, कुछ नए सवाल उठे और ये इच्छा जागी कि मैं वो सवाल आचार्य जी से स्वयं पूछूं। आज मुझे उनसे बात करने का सौभाग्य हुआ, मुझे मौका मिला कि मैं आचार्य जी से स्वयं वीडियो कॉल के ज़रिए बात कर सकूं और अपने सवाल पूछ सकूं। मैं एक तैराक भी हूं और 2015 में काफ़ी मुश्किल स्विम की तैयारी के दौरान, जो कि आगे जाके एक वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड स्विम बना, उसके तैयारी के दौरान मेरा परिचय ध्यान से हुआ और वहीं से मेरी आध्यात्मिक यात्रा, मेरी स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी की भी शुरुआत हुई। तो जो सवाल मैंने आज आचार्य जी से पूछे वो मेरे उन्हीं अनुभवों से जुड़े हैं, मेरे जीवन के उन्हीं पहलुओं से जुड़े हैं और भी कई सारी चीज़ों से जुड़े हैं जो कि हर व्यक्ति के, जो कि आध्यात्म के पथ पर चलता है, उनके मन में उठते हैं। मैं आशा करती हूँ कि मेरे जो सवाल थे वो सिर्फ मुझ तक ही ना रह जाएं, जो भी ये इस पथ पर चल रहा है उन तक पहुँचें और जिस तरीके से मुझे ये इन आचार्य जी के जवाबों ने गाइडेंस दी है, वो ही गाइडेंस हर उस व्यक्ति तक पहुँचे जिनके मन में ये या कोई और सवाल उठते हों। एक चीज़ जो आचार्य जी ने इस बातचीत के दौरान कही वो बहुत गहरे तक अंदर जाकर बैठी। आचार्य जी ने एक लाइन कही इस बातचीत में कि यदि आपका ध्येय सही है तो जीवन ही आध्यात्म है। वो सीख मेरे लिए बहुत ही बड़ी है और उसे पूरी तरीके से समझ पाने में भी समय लगेगा और अपने जीवन में इम्प्लीमेंट करने में भी समय लगेगा, लेकिन ये बहुत ही बड़ी सीख मुझे लगती है जो मैं ले सकती हूँ और कोई भी ले सकता है कि आध्यात्म जीवन का कोई एक हिस्सा नहीं है, पहलू नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप अपना जीवन सही तरीके से जी रहे हैं तो आध्यात्म जीवन जीने का ही तरीका है एक। तो मैं आशा करती हूँ कि जिस तरीके से मैं इस बातचीत के बाद में जितना कुछ एक कह लीजिए खजाने के तौर पर आचार्य जी की सीख मैं लेके निकली हूँ, वो उसी तरीके की आप भी ले पाएँ, इस बातचीत से जुड़ पाएँ, मेरे सवाल आप जो भी देख रहे हैं उनसे रिलेटेबल हो। और मैं आशा करती हूँ कि मेरे सवालों के ज़रिए या इस बातचीत के ज़रिए आपके भी कई सवालों का जवाब आपको इस वीडियो में मिले।